When I was like 17, I was in love for the first time, and I was at a little boarding school in Vermont, and my girlfriend Margaret's mom lived in New Hampshire on this little lake, and we'd go over there sometimes for the weekend. We'd have these big dinners. I just thought it was the best thing ever. But one night in the fall, there was this guy leaning against the wall, kind of charismatic, kind of curly-headed, handsome guy, maybe in his late 20s. And everyone was treating him kind of gingerly. And someone said, yeah, he makes his living in a canoe. He's a geochemist. He goes on these expeditions and, studies rivers all over the place. And my ears perked up because that's kind of what I wanted to do. I love the outdoors. And so I went over and said, hey, what's going on? He said, well, I lost my wife this summer. And he said, well, I was on this expedition in Labrador. We were in a canoe, the two of us, and she got up in the morning, went over a berm to go to the bathroom, and I never saw her again. And my jaw sort of dropped, and I said, well, was there a bear sign? Was it a bear attack? No. Did you search for it? Yeah, of course. For a few days, I couldn't find anything. And I walked away from that talk, and I knew he was lying.
But other people believed him, obviously, if they were handling him gingerly.
Yeah, oh, no, everybody did. The law and, everybody. But I knew, I just had this certainty that the guy was lying, that he somehow disposed of his wife. And I must have been thinking about that for like 40 years, because when I started with my first line and started writing into the story, that's sort of the story that appeared.
So it's the first line of your prologue.
Yeah.
Okay, let me read the first line. They had been smelling smoke for 2 days. That's what starts your story.
I wrote that, and then all of a sudden there were these two young guys, best friends, in this canoe on this lake way, way north in Canada by Hudson Bay, and stuff started to happen.
Yeah, things go awry pretty quickly.
Yeah.
There is sort of mysteriously a man and a woman who are heard fighting. Is that where the first story you just told us, that's where that part comes in? It
turns out that the man and the woman fighting were this guy and his wife. This guy that I had met in New Hampshire, and I just imagined him, up there and what might have happened.
It's funny because when I first saw that it was about these two guys going canoeing and things start going wrong, I immediately thought of Deliverance. I'm sure other people will think of that too when they see what the book is about.
Yeah, good eye, because I tip my hat to James Dickey because, it is the iconic canoe trip gone wrong book for sure.
Do you have any say in the layout of the print in your book? Because there are a lot of spaces between dialogue. It's laid out differently than other books.
Yeah, it's I insist on it. Ever since I wrote The Dog Stars in 2012, I did it that way. Double space between paragraphs, between quotations. There are various reasons I did it. I came up as a poet. I like writing that's compressed, that comes in sort of in a mosaic, like tiles. I think it affects the way I write when I do that, when I sort of make the paragraphs stand out more.
Yeah, it does look like stanzas. That makes sense that you'd be a poet and that it would be laid out that way.
Yeah, and I think it just focuses more attention to each line, and so I have to be more careful about each word, I think, and try and put more power into each stanza, so to speak. It was funny, when Dog Stars got first published in Germany, I showed up, my escort there. They have these literary people, these people that meet you and take you to your hotel and all that and take you around to your readings. And she handed me the book. And I was like in shock because the Germans had just put all the paragraphs together and made one big block of text. I said, what happened? She said, well, the German people wouldn't understand these spaces. Come on.
Yeah, I was wondering, you mentioned The Dog Stars a couple of times. That was your first novel. It was widely acclaimed. It got wonderful reviews and was on the bestseller list for the New York Times and all kinds of accolades. You've written several novels since. And with this one, I see highly anticipated release. Do you feel pressure from that kind of statement?
I feel just glee. It's great. So many people are excited about the book, and the people that have read the early, they have those review copies. Said it reminds them of The Dog Stars, and some people say it's the best one yet. And I just get I get giddy when I hear that because you're only as good as your last book. So yay.
Peter Heller is the author of The River, and I thank you so much for talking with us today.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.